my family, as in the family of my character, obviously are Iranian, and I didn't want to wave any flags about it. It's just because I'm an American, but I was born in Iran, and so I thought, well, there it is. It's a family who's an American, no different than any other family, has the same issues that other families have, and that's it. As far as how I feel about the Iranian culture, that's a loaded question. Recently a lot of talk has been because of this whole, everything's been going on, and we all are aware of. My country is one of the countries that's banned from coming out here, people coming out here. Asghar Farhadi, who won the Academy Award for Best Foreign Film, he refused to come out and collect his Oscar as a protest. He even sent a very eloquent letter, saying why he didn't do it, because he also felt like his people were being denied, so he's not going to come out as a result. Personally, I disagree with that. I think change happens within. We can't expect others to change for you to have a better life. So I felt like it would have been better if he had just come out and collected the Oscar and thanked everybody for the honor. And do you agree? Iranian mom? And the thing is, I don't want to make this political. I'm going to get off the subject very quickly. But I also felt like that, to support your friends and family and say, my people are not going to come out here. That's true, but there's a large portion of that people who are also chanting death to America. And so you're saying no to the Oscar because you're saying they're not being allowed in. So I think at some point you have to take responsibility for yourself. I think for that to change, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. That's how I feel about it. It's my opinion.
Questions, just by a raise of hands.
My nose. How is my nose, you ask? How's it looking? Not so good. It's fine. I can breathe through it, so it's functional. Let's just say that.
What is the meaning of the title of the film?
Who said that?
I did.
I wasn't challenging you. I just wanted to look at you. What do you think it was?
Well, I guess it depicted the ordinary life of a man who was the father of a child, an ordinary home life at
Right.
7 o'clock,
Yeah.
taking care of homemaking responsibilities.
Right.
Okay, there's something about the ordinariness of the life.
Yeah.
That life goes on.
Yeah.
No matter what. Okay, and your responsibilities. I also want to say that I think the acting was fantastic. There was real chemistry. Please answer my question.
Yes.
What is the meaning of the
You're not letting me off the hook. Huh? Is that Monday Nights at 7 for us was, my character goes to see the old lady. Every Monday at 7, he visits her. Every Monday at 7 is that shot in the courtyard. But it was also symbolic, as essentially kind of what you talked about, where we go through life, we hang on to things that anchors us, that prevents us from being elevated consciously in order to experience life better. So those things that we think that we have to do because we said we are going to do, and if we admit that that's not what we really want to do, might be shameful to us, might also be the same baggages that hold us back from living a fulfilled life. So that's essentially what Monday Nights at 7 was symbolic of. I hope that answers your question.
Oh,
Well, you know, yeah. Considering how it turned out, I could have just done it without any training. Could have gotten away with it, but I actually trained for a long time. You know,
Years.
Yeah, years.
yeah, but you know, shit happens.
There was a question right here. Go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you. First of all, congratulations to everybody. What a wonderful, beautiful film, and thank you. Such a spectacular job. The young lady in the blue dress. So fantastic. And how did you find her? And congratulations to you for such a beautiful character.
Thank you.
Well, you tell her how I
Yes,
found.
I want to hear from you. That's beautiful.
Well, I auditioned and, well, so I auditioned and I went in the room and I did the script and I guess Marty just liked me, I guess. I don't know.
Tell them what happened.
Well, I did the scene and he had me do it over in different ways. And I just felt really comfortable with him because he made me feel like he made me feel comfortable, like I was myself. And yeah.
She's great, and she's I think she has a very big future ahead of her. She came in, and I'm going to tell you this really quick story. We were sitting down. We had different casting directors at the time, and she came in, and the casting director did not work out. We had to switch at some point. But at the time when she came in, the casting director took it upon herself to joke around with her. And I understand why she was doing that. In her mind, she was thinking, I'm going to try to make this kid feel at ease. But the scene was not a scene that required her to be at ease. So, yes, as an actor, you want to be relaxed, but then, you know, it's a kind of a fine thing how you get the person there. So as she was making her jokes, at some point she turned around and she said, can we just do the audition? And I looked at her. I'm like, oh, all right. She knows who she is. You know?
One more question, thank you.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
I want to say it's a very well produced film, very well shot. The writing is very good, but one of the things that I really was aware of was what a wonderful score you have. Can you talk about
Well, the score, you should really talk about it because this was someone that, Rossino is the one who did the score, and he's someone that he's worked with Eddie before. And we were talking to different composers. You know, I can't mention the score of the film because when you follow your heart, when you follow what you want to do, and I have to emphasize the word follow. That means you are not necessarily in control, you know? You're following a belief. You're following an instinct. You're following what you believe truly, this is the way I'm supposed to go. Everybody on this stage right here, and Rossino, who did the score, always been that way. They came into the film because we followed what felt right. Rossino had never done score in this style before. So there was no way for us to listen to his music and go, oh, this guy, just give me some more of that. It wasn't like that. It was this person who watched the film and felt what he felt and expressed what he did. I wish he was here so he could also hear that question, but I will let him know that he was appreciated and loved and noticed.
Also, I have to add that
Yes.
sorry, I gotta get it in there. Rossino and Marty discussed it beforehand, and what they wanted to do was incorporate traditional Iranian instruments and traditional Mexican instruments and have them work together like the two characters do.
Communicate.
And to communicate with each other. It wasn't necessarily going to be one style of music or another, one culture's music or another. but rather a blending of the two in unexpected ways. So that was the theory behind the score. It's interesting too.
Your experience with this,
I'll just say, I want to just say thank you to all of you for coming tonight. This is the second audience that's ever seen the film. Ever. And by far, I must say that the film is growing. It played really well today. The laughter was unbelievable amongst all of you from the very beginning. You caught everything, and you know, I must say that it was a very emotional journey. I ran into Laura and Marty 9 years ago when we started. They came up to me and they asked me if I would, help them find this artist, this actress that I was dating at the time, and they wanted to use her. And I said, of course, I'll try to help her, and I'll help you guys share. So they sent us the script, and the relationship started. She left me and went on to her rest of her life. And that's when, years later, we ended up getting to this point today. The man who asked the question about the music, ladies and gentlemen, is truly a gift to me and a gift to all of us. He's the producer of Stand and Deliver, Mr. Tom Muska. Please thank you very much for coming. I had no idea Tommy was coming, and all of a sudden, boom, there he's walking through the door. My God, phenomenal. But I will say that of the films that I've made in my life, I will say that this is one of the most extraordinary films that I've ever made. And it all goes back to Laura and to Marty. The way they constructed and worked on this film, it was amazing. There's a reality of this film which maybe some of you caught, maybe you didn't, I don't know. But there's some real strong realities in this film that almost, when you're inside of them, they blend so well with the dramatic portion of the film that it becomes a new art form. It's very interesting how he did it, and I must say that he always had it in his mind to do this. This is not something that came about by accident. He literally drove the film towards this reality. And I'll let him explain if he wants to. I don't know if he wants to, but I'll ask him. You want to?
Want to talk, director? No. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. No, I mean, as far as the music, yeah, and I didn't know who you were. Nice to meet you. I love your movie. I love everything you do. Let's do lunch. As far as the film, we just, I was speaking to a young director, aspiring director, who came up to me earlier and talked to me, asked me a similar question, asked me about the process and all of that, and he asked me, his question was, do you think about success as far as like trying to be successful, or do you think about making films that you care about? And in my mind, and because the world is not as it is, the world is as how we see it. And in my mind, how I see the world is that you cannot be successful if you're not doing what you love, because otherwise it's just an imaginary idea of what success is. It's what society's idea is what success is, rather than you feeling successful. We associate success with lots of money and cars and stuff, but that seems kind of silly when you say it out loud. So it has to be more. I hope it's more. I have faith that it is more. So when I was making films that I cared about, and hopefully that comes through, and you care too. Yes.
Guys, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up.
She raised her hand. Go ahead.
Love the movie.
Thank you.
Absolutely one of the best movies I've ever seen. My question is, I want to tell my friends internationally that live around the world, how can they get to see it? Will it be shown everywhere, or like, what are you gonna do with it?
Well, I have this idea as far as distribution goes. I've also written a book that I would like to release with the film. They're kind of companion pieces. And it's in a way, we see the film as kind of like a mirror, and that was the description Laura gave it, I think was very accurate. When you see the film, if you can look at the film like a mirror and how you experience the film, look at it from a personal standpoint rather than a judgmental standpoint, then you might discover something about yourself that you might find interesting. And the book is a literal interpretation of that. It's not an exact story, nothing like that. It's not a story being told. You saw the story, that's the movie. This is the emotional interpretation. So my idea is to do something like that to release the two. But we just, like Eddie said, we just got started, so hopefully soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
everybody for being here.